Everyone refused to save the paralyzed alien warrior except this human soldier. The acrid stench of plasma, discharge, and burning metal filled the air as Brian Carter picked his way there through the wreckage of what had once been the forward command post. His combat boots crunched over spent shell casings and fragments of destroyed combat mechs, the sound echoing in the eerie silence that followed the massive battle. "Hell here I won," he muttered, adjusting the strap of his Mark 7 plasma rifle. The weapon's power cell hummed reassuringly against his shoulder, one of the few familiar comforts in this wasteland of destruction. His tactical display showed nothing but static. The enemy's final assault had taken out most of their communication systems. The battle had been brutal. The Dryad forces had hit them hard and fast, overwhelming their defenses with sheer numbers. Now, as far as Brian could tell, he was the only survivor from his unit. The 23rd Marine Combat Division, reduced to a single soldier, his combat suit's environmental sensors picked up movement ahead. Brian dropped into a crouch, his augmented muscles tensing as he raised his rifle. Through the settling dust and smoke, he caught a glimpse of something that made his breath catch. A female figure lay half buried under debris, her silvery hair spread out like a metallic fan against the dark ground. Her skin had an otherworldly lavender gray hue. A Lazarian warrior, one of humanity's strongest allies in the war against the Drades. Brian approached cautiously, his tactical training wearing with his instinct to help. The Lyran wore what looked like a modernized version of ancient warrior garb, now torn and stained with phosphorescent blood. Her eyes fluttered open as he neared, revealing iris is the color of storm. "Clouds don't move," he said, kneeling beside her. "I'm Sergeant Brian Carter, Earth Marine Corps. Kira Banish." She managed, her voice carrying a melodic accent despite her obvious pain. "Third Strike Force. Can't feel my legs." Brian's medical scanner confirmed his fears. Her spine was severely damaged, dying in the middle of a hot zone with enemy forces potentially regrouping. She was as good as dead. Military protocol was clear: in retreat situations, immobile casualties were to be left behind. "Just leave me," she said, reading his expression. "Others must have survived. Save yourself." Brian looked at her, then at his tactical display showing multiple bogies approaching from the north. The smart play was to run. The logical choice was to leave her, but something in him rebelled against the idea. "Like hell," he growled, already working to free her from the debris. "I didn't survive this show just to leave someone behind." A ghost of a smile crossed her face. "Stubborn human. You haven't seen stubborn yet, sweetheart." He managed to lift her carefully, noting how her combat suit, despite its revealing design, was made of advanced materials that helped stabilize her injuries. "This might hurt a bit. I've had worse," she said, then gasped as he adjusted his grip. "Though perhaps not recently." Brian grinned. "Despite the situation, hold tight. We're about to make an extremely unauthorized withdrawal from this party." Brian moved swiftly through the rubble-strewn battlefield, his enhanced muscles barely registering Kira's weight. The Lyrian warrior had fallen silent, but her steady breathing against his neck told him she was conscious, monitoring their surroundings with keen alien senses. "Your heart rate is remarkably steady for someone carrying dead weight through a war zone," she murmured, her breath tickling his ear. "Marine training. Sweetheart, though I've got to admit you're the most attractive cargo I've ever had." Her soft chuckle sent an unexpected shiver down his spine. "Flirting while evading death. How delightfully human. What can I say? I'm a multitasker." Brian paused behind a destroyed mech, checking his tactical display. 3 bogies, 2 o'clock, and any insights on drop patrol patterns. They hunt in triangular formations. Kira whispered, her fingers unconsciously tightening on his shoulder. "The visible ones are bait. Watch for flankers." Brian nodded, appreciating both her tactical knowledge and the way her body pressed against his as she shifted to get a better view. "Focus, Marine," he chided himself. "Got any other tricks up that stylish combat suit of yours?" Several. Her voice took on a playful tone. "Despite their situation, though, I'm curious what made you notice my outfit in particular." "Professional interest only." Of course, he grinned, carefully maneuvering around a smoking crater. "The tactical advantages of your armor design are quite striking, of course," she purred, "just as I'm admiring your combat suit's capabilities purely from a military perspective." Their banter was interrupted by the distinctive whine of Drachnid energy weapons, charging up Brian Dove behind a fallen pillar, twisting to shield Kira with his body as plasma bolts sear the air where they'd been standing. Well, this is cozy Kira, commented, her face inches from his comfortable Brian, asked, already calculating escape routes. Quite. Her silver hair brushed his cheek as she turned to survey their situation. Though I prefer my intimate encounters with less plasma fire involved, noted for future reference. Brian risked a peek over their cover.